Hello, and a very warm welcome back to Legends of Britain. I'm so glad you could join us. This is the channel where we explore the most baffling and intriguing crime stories from all corners of the United Kingdom. Tales of mystery, suspense, and the darker side of history. Thank you for being a part of our journey as we uncover these legendary cases, and as always, thank you for your incredible support. Every day, the news is filled with stories of crime, each one a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the shadows of our towns and cities. From petty thefts that disrupt everyday life to shocking disappearances that make headlines, these events leave us all with more questions than answers. They remind us that behind every quiet street and peaceful landscape, there are secrets waiting to be uncovered. Sometimes, the truth is far stranger than any fiction we could imagine, and the most baffling cases are the ones that happen right on our doorstep. Tonight, we delve into one such story, a tale of a vanishing that left a community in fear and a detective searching for a ghost. Tonight, our journey takes us to the hauntingly beautiful yet unforgiving landscape of the Yorkshire Moors. This vast, open space, celebrated for its stunning natural beauty and wild, untamed spirit, holds a chilling secret. We'll be delving into the mysterious disappearance of Alastair Croft, a renowned birdwatcher who vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a broken pair of binoculars and a case that left local police completely baffled. Join us as we attempt to uncover the truth behind one of Britain's most unsettling and enduring mysteries, the vanishing on the moors. Alastair Croft was more than just a name in the world of ornithology. He was a legend. A man dedicated to the quiet pursuit of documenting Britain's most elusive birds. His work had earned him national acclaim and the respect of his peers. With his weathered binoculars and an encyclopedic knowledge of the British countryside, he was a familiar and welcome sight on the moors of Yorkshire. His keen eye had led to the discovery of rare migratory patterns and nesting sites, making his sudden and inexplicable disappearance all the more shocking. He was a man who preferred solitude, finding his peace and purpose in the wide-open spaces of the British wilderness. His passion was so profound that it was said he knew the moors better than the police knew the streets of Leeds. He meticulously documented every sighting and detail in his journals, a practice that made his work invaluable to the scientific community. It was this very dedication to detail and his deep knowledge of the land that made his vanishing so perplexing. It was as if the moors themselves had swallowed him whole, leaving no trace behind except for his broken binoculars and a trail of unanswered questions. Months passed, and the case of Alastair Croft's disappearance had gone cold. The local police, with no leads and no body, were forced to conclude their investigation, officially classifying it as an unsolved missing persons case. The vast, silent expanse of the Yorkshire Moors seemed to have swallowed him whole, and the public's initial outrage had slowly faded into a quiet, unsettling memory. However, the file on Alastair Croft never truly closed. In the back rooms of the police station, one detective, a seasoned veteran named Detective Chief Inspector Robert Brook, found himself unable to let it go. Brook, an old-school copper with a gut feeling for a foul play, believed there was more to the story than a simple disappearance. He saw the case not as a dead end, but as a puzzle with missing pieces. Convinced that the Moors held a darker secret than anyone realized, he decided to reopen the investigation on his own, determined to find the truth behind the vanishing of Alastair Croft. With the case file now officially back on his desk, Detective Chief Inspector Robert Brook began his meticulous work. Brook was a man forged from the rugged landscapes he now patrolled. A native of Yorkshire, he possessed an intimate knowledge of the moor's deceptive beauty and its hidden dangers. Unlike the younger officers who relied heavily on modern technology, Brook trusted his instincts and years of experience. He was a quiet, observant man, often seen with a weathered trench coat and a look of deep contemplation, as if he were constantly piecing together a puzzle only he could see. His reputation was one of dogged determination. While others had moved on, Brook was haunted by the fact that Alastair Croft, a man who knew the land better than anyone, could simply vanish. He was convinced this wasn't an accident. To Brook, the Moors were a silent witness, and he was determined to make them speak. He decided to revisit the crime scene, not with fresh eyes, but with the wisdom of a man who understood that in the vastness of Yorkshire, a small, forgotten detail could be the key to everything. As Detective Brook delved deeper into Alastair Croft's life, he began to uncover a series of forgotten clues. He meticulously re-examined the old police files and came across a recurring, but often dismissed name: the Ghost of Yorkshire. It wasn't a person, but an old, notorious smuggling and poaching gang that had operated in the moors for decades. Thought to have been disbanded years ago, the gang was infamous for their secrecy and ruthlessness, their members disappearing into the landscape as if they were never there. Brook discovered that Croft had been documenting more than just birds. His meticulous journals contained cryptic notes and a hidden map detailing what appeared to be illegal poaching routes and clandestine hideouts. Croft had unknowingly stumbled upon a secret that many believed was buried with the past. To Brook, it was clear Alastair Croft hadn't simply vanished. He had found something he shouldn't have, and the Ghost of Yorkshire had silenced him. The moors weren't just a place of beauty. They were the hunting ground of a very real and very dangerous phantom. Armed with this new theory, Detective Brook's investigation shifted from a cold case review to an active hunt. He was no longer searching for a missing person, but for a hidden conspiracy. He meticulously cross-referenced Croft's journals with historical police records, looking for patterns that had been overlooked for years. He started visiting old, forgotten pubs and speaking to the locals, those who had lived in the shadow of the moors their entire lives. He asked about the old gang, the Ghost of Yorkshire, and about any new faces or strange happenings in the area. Brook's pursuit was a lonely one. His superiors had little faith in his ghost story, and his colleagues thought he was wasting his time. But Brook's resolve only strengthened. He was convinced that the key to Croft's disappearance lay not in a violent act, but in a decades-old secret that had finally resurfaced. He knew that the moors, with their vastness, could hide many things, and he was determined to expose the truth that Alastair Croft had died trying to protect. Brook's relentless questioning of the locals finally yielded a result. An elderly pub owner, after much persuasion, spoke of a man known only as the Fox. He was an old hand, a former member of the Ghost of Yorkshire gang, who had mysteriously gone quiet and retired from his life of crime. The pub owner whispered that the fox was once the right-hand man to the gang's leader, and if anyone knew what really happened in the moors, it would be him. Brook knew this was his key. The fox was his link to the truth, a living piece of the puzzle that everyone else had forgotten. He began his search, not for a dangerous gangster, but for a frightened old man. He knew that the fox wouldn't be easy to find. He had spent his life hiding in the shadows of the moors, an expert at avoiding detection. But Brook was just as determined, and with Croft's cryptic map in hand, he began to follow the trail, certain that it would lead him to the one person who could finally unravel the mystery of the vanishing birdwatcher. Brook's search for the fox led him deep into a secluded part of the moors, a place where crumbling stone walls and thickets of heather provided perfect cover. Following the hidden trails from Croft's map, he eventually found a small, dilapidated cottage nestled amongst the rocks. Inside, he found an old man, frail and alone, whose eyes still held the cunning of his younger days. This was the fox. Brook wasted no time. He laid out the evidence, Croft's journal, the old case files, and the whispers from the pub. He spoke of how Croft had been documenting more than just birds, and how his discoveries had put him in danger. The old man, seeing the determined look in Brook's eyes, finally broke. He confessed that the Ghost of Yorkshire was not just a memory. It was a still active criminal enterprise. He admitted that the gang's new leader had ordered Croft's killing to protect their illegal operations. The fox, now a broken man, revealed the location of Croft's body, an abandoned flooded mine shaft known only to the gang. Brook, with the new information from the fox, wasted no time. He immediately assembled a team and headed for the abandoned mine shaft. The location was remote and treacherous, hidden deep within the treacherous landscape of the moors. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decay, a grim reminder of the secret it held. As the team descended into the dark, cold depths of the mine, they discovered Alastair Croft's body. It was a tragic end for a man who had dedicated his life to the beauty of the moors. However, in his final moments, Croft had hidden something crucial. Tucked away in a small, waterproof satchel on his person, they found a detailed diary. It contained not only his final bird sightings, but also a complete and comprehensive record of the Ghost of Yorkshire's operations, including names, locations, and smuggling routes. With this concrete evidence, Brook and his team were able to dismantle the entire operation. The gang's new leader and its remaining members were apprehended, and a criminal enterprise that had plagued the moors for years was finally brought to an end. Alastair Croft's passion for the moors had ultimately led to his death, but his dedication and meticulous record-keeping ensured that he didn't die in vain. His final act brought justice to a region that had long been haunted by its past. The moors had finally given up their secret. Alastair Croft's story is a powerful reminder that some of the most beautiful places can hide the darkest secrets. His dedication, which ultimately led to his death, also brought justice to a region that had been haunted by a forgotten crime. It teaches us that vigilance is a vital virtue, and that every small detail, every quiet whisper can be the key to unlocking a greater truth. What did you think of tonight's story? We'd love to hear your thoughts on Alastair Croft's tragic journey and Detective Brook's determined hunt. Please leave your comments below. If you were gripped by this tale, then make sure you never miss another. Please do subscribe to Legends of Britain and join our growing community. With your support, we can continue to bring you these fascinating and mysterious stories from our nation's past. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.